Hello, and welcome to Animal Chiropractic Clinic Chatter, a podcast where Dr. O from All Creatures Every Spine interviews doctors and animal owners that utilize animal chiropractic to get their unique perspectives. Yes, it's really a thing. Dr. O utilizes his 30 years of experience as both an animal chiropractor and veterinarian, and to dig deep into the discussion of complex issues affecting the lives of your animal friends and companions. Join us for this educational episode. Thanks for joining us for this portion of the episode as Dr. O begins to answer the question, what is animal chiropractic? He will look at how the chiropractic adjustment is a valuable and viable treatment for what ails your animals.
What is animal chiropractic? Animal chiropractic is a modality, some people think. It is the only modality, some people think. It works well with other things, but what it is not, it doesn't treat lameness. It doesn't treat problems like diarrhea, or vomiting, anything like that. But what animal chiropractic does do is it removes vertebral subluxations from the body. Vertebral subluxations are like a sewer system that doesn't work properly. They're like a clog in the drain that makes the sewer system not work properly. And a vertebral subluxation does that with the nervous system. It makes it so the spinal fluid can't flow properly, nerve impulses can't flow properly, so the body doesn't know what's going on. And so therefore we have a body that performs at less than optimal conditions. What's that mean? Well, it's pretty easy if you've got a performance animal. You know, instead of running 14 in a barrel pattern, your horse is running 14, 5, 15. You've got a fly ball dog, instead of running, 3-8, he's running 4-2, 4-3. All these things make some pretty significant differences for these high performance athletic animals. Yeah, I know, but my dog, he just plays a little fetch. He just, he's a couch potato. What does he need chiropractic care for? Well, for the pet dog, the dog that's, just interacting with the family member, it's huge. Because all the organs in the body are controlled by the nervous system. And all the organs in the body must work properly for your animal to be a good pet. We just saw a dog last week that had been leaking in the house for 4.5 years. And we adjusted him. And he quit leaking in the house. And that was important for these people because their 15-year-old dog, they were going to have to give him up because they were moving to an apartment. And leaking in an apartment is a whole different story than leaking in your own house. So, huge improvement for the quality of life of that dog, for the quality of the family, and they put up with it for 4.5 years. Imagine if they'd have found chiropractic care when that dog started leaking. What else? That dog, playing frisbee, enjoying the life with his family. What other things are not at optimal levels? Chiropractic care will help anything. It helps balance the sympathetic parasympathetic nervous system. It helps balance the stress level of an animal. My dog doesn't have any stress. He just lays around on the couch all day. Well, you know what? When you're 20 minutes late getting home and he has to lay on the couch an extra 20 minutes before he gets fed or before he goes to the bathroom, that's stressful for your dog. So, everybody has stress. It just comes in different ways. And so, our job as animal chiropractors is to remove the vertebral subluxations from your animal's body, whether it's a dog, a horse, a cat, a cow, a pig, whatever. Remove those vertebral subluxations and allow them to interact with their environment in the way they were meant to interact, at the utmost of their ability. We have patients that come in here that have no safety. It's a congenital defect, but you know what? They do just fine. We have animals that come in here that have lumbar sacral stenosis, congenital defect, but they do just fine. They compete at high levels because the body makes adaptations for those congenital defects. Usually, those congenital defects aren't a problem, especially in an animal that's been living with it for 7, 8, 9 years. If all of a sudden it shows up, it's probably not the problem. It's probably a vertebral subluxation somewhere else in the body. Have your animals checked on a regular basis by a certified animal chiropractor, by somebody that understands the anatomy, the neurology, the physiology of your animal's body. It's different between a quadruped and a biped. The way biomechanics work, the way gravity affects the nervous system. In the human, our nervous system sits like this. Gravity makes everything go to the bottom, right? In the dog or a horse, their nervous system sits like this. So gravity makes it go to the bottom, just like in the human, except the bottom of an animal's nervous system is the longest nerves in the body. So when you have a vertebral subluxation, it affects the back legs first. Remember, above, down, inside, out, that's the way the body heals. Keep those atlases adjusted. Have a great day.
Make sure to visit our website, allcreatureseveryspine.com, where you can subscribe to the show and learn more about getting your animals adjusted. If you are in the Meridian, Texas area, drop in on a Tuesday afternoon to get your animals adjusted. If that isn't possible, schedule a consultation on your animal's health with Dr. O. You can also purchase a copy of Dr. O's book. Yes, it's really a thing.
Helping others experience an abundant life with the gift, art, and blessing that is animal chiropractic is our sole mission at All Creatures Every Spine. It's what we do. It's what we love. It truly is what keeps us motivated to help people just like you. I truly love the art of chiropractic. It drives me to provide the highest level of chiropractic possible. And as fellow chiropractic business owners, it's that love that drives us to become better. However, the reality is that sometimes running a successful business can be challenging. Sometimes there can be obstacles to overcome. We all know the old saying, if it were easy, everyone would do it. Well, one thing that is really easy is marketing our clinic with a professional animal chiropractic website by the Chiro Website Pro, Tony Seymour. He's a professional web designer, and his team at Chiro Website Pro take good care of us. They simply make marketing our practice 100% hassle-free. If you're looking for the #1 hands-free way to market your practice, give the Chiro Website Pro a call at 423-779-4630 or simply visit www.chirowebsitepro.com and make sure you ask them about the special ACES discount and let them know Dr. Amy and Dr. O sent you. You'll be glad.
Join us as Dr. O interviews a certified chiropractor, veterinarian, or an animal owner. These enthusiastic people explain how they utilize animal chiropractic to alter the lives of the animals in their communities.
Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Animal Chiropractic Clinic Chatter. I'm your host, Dr. O, and I'm here with Dr. Megan Smith. You want to tell us a little bit about your practice?
So I have a somewhat unique practice because I am in a pretty good suburban area. And so I have, a lot of affluent clients who are very and things done themselves. And so they are aware of it as a concept that then now we can apply to animals. And I also compete in multiple dog sports with my guys who are hanging out back there because we're always running around doing something. And then I bring in clients that way as well into my practice that purely come just for the acupuncture, chiropractic, sports medicine, rehab type situation that we have. And then I also do general practice, spay, neuter, vaccinations, wellness, sick pets, that kind of thing. So I do a little bit of everything with cats and dogs. And then I also do horses, just chiropractic and acupuncture, a little bit on the side. No emergencies, no late nights, nothing like that. But I get my horse kick from doing that.
Ah, cool. All right. So what's your biggest win with animal chiropractic?
I think my biggest win has honestly been my own dog. That little guy right there, little black and tan dachshund. He'll be 13 next week. He, a year ago, developed some calcifications in his vertebrae and his discs were starting to calcify. He's an upper level nose work dog. So he started slowing down at competitions and he was getting very painful and trying to hide it. But finally he couldn't hide it anymore and he wasn't eating as well. And when a dachshund slows down on food, that's a big problem. And so then he started getting weaker in the rear, started wobbling more and more, and just painful all the time. And so I started with just adjusting him and relieving that muscle tension on him. And that has been a huge thing for him that I can do anytime, anywhere. And it can be something that if he needs it every couple of days, I can do that. And now he is working on his NW3 elite level to keep moving up, and he's just smoking it. And at one point he was turning away from food. And for this dog to be turning away from food because he's that painful is a big red flag. And so he gets adjusted very regularly. He is jumping all over the place. I have to watch him now because he's trying to do too much, thinking he's a spry young man again. And keeping him going and competing has been huge, and keeping him pain-free. He's not on any meds anymore. He is maintained purely with the laser and chiropractic at this point for a year now.
All right. So I'm so excited, but I have to play the devil's advocate here. Because, as a veterinarian, he's got those calcified discs. And aren't you worried about hurting him?
No, I know where his discs are. And so I am very careful about where I'm adjusting him, since I did x-ray him and I know exactly what we're dealing with and where. And so sometimes it's more of a flexion extension and not even a full adjustment in that area. And I go to the atlas and I go to his sacrum, I do his bookends, and he falls into the middle, and I go and check the middle where he's having the disc calcifications, and I don't have to adjust them because I've done the front and the back, and the middle falls in.
Yes, both ends. We work both ends, and the middle takes care of itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool the way the nervous system works that way.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to worry about it. So leg length check, is so huge on these guys, doing leg length check. And on the dachshunds, it's easy, but even on the big dogs and on the horses, we can check leg length. It's huge. Get that out.
And he's gotten so used to it. He loves it so much. And I've got several dogs that do this. I can adjust them basically by myself, that they know. Okay, I line up my head and she lifts my butt in the air and they don't move. Like, he doesn't move. And he's like, she's gonna make me feel really good, and I'm just gonna stand here and she's gonna do things and it's gonna feel great. And then I get my big old shakeouts, and then they turn into man cookies.
Yep, that's it. So I know you do a lot of competition, and so do you recommend that I get my dog adjusted for the first time at a competition? Like right before a big competition?
No. I don't. Not right before, for the first time. If they've been getting regularly done, yeah, I tune them up ahead of time. But the very first time, I'll feel them and tell people, he's got some sore areas, but if I do something and it changes how he's carrying himself, and it may make him a little more sore because he's been like this for so long, and then I loosen that up and he doesn't know how to carry himself with that anymore, and you're going to go compete tomorrow morning or even this afternoon, then they have to relearn how to move correctly. And with agility, they are moving in a certain way, and if we disrupt that 5 seconds before they're going into the arena, I don't want that to create a different injury.
Correct. You're right. Yes. Because we try to get everybody to come in on Wednesdays, before the big competitions. But how many, your dog is competing and going to elite competitions, and we just had a dog that made the national IPO team for the fifth.
Oh, nice.
For the fifth time.
Wow.
Which is the first. There's never been a dog that's been on the IPO team, the national IPO team, for 5 years.
Wow.
There were a couple that had been there for 4. But the big story is real similar to your dog. She came to us in 2017 as a 4-year-old. They were ready to retire her.
That's
because she just wasn't competing at the level they thought she should. So they were looking for a way to make her comfortable, and genetically she had some good genes, so they wanted to get her comfortable so that she could have a couple litters of puppies. That was in January. In March, she got the highest score in the nation.
Nice.
And then, she's been doing it for 5 years now. So chiropractic does amazing things with these competition dogs.
Oh, yeah.
As you can see.
And I've paid more attention to the younger dogs. Then I'm starting to get younger dogs in, and including my own, that, you think they're young, like, they'll, you tend to focus more and think more about the older dogs, make sure they can hold it together, keep competing, all of that kind of stuff. But when I started paying more attention to my younger dog and keeping track of him and checking him and adjusting him more regularly, he was able to more easily do the more advanced things as we kept moving up through the levels. And I think that he wasn't having to fight his body, because young dogs do stupid things out in the dog yard or trying to do something extra because they are unsure of what you're asking them as they move up in levels. And the dogs that are very high drive, that want to give 150% every time, tend to not care what their bodies do. They just get it done.
Right.
And I've started looking and working on more and more and talking with people that I'm adjusting their older experienced dog. I'm like, let's get the baby dog out. Let's get the novice dog out and make sure that he's not done something to himself, that's why you're kind of stuck in this situation at novice that you can't get out of, because something's potentially going on with his body. And I've started working on some younger dogs, and it's making a difference that their brain can talk to the rest of their body more clearly, I think, and they can handle it better.
Yeah. And we've been doing a lot with symmetry now. We've been looking at a lot of symmetry.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we know that if a dog carries a leg, it takes about 7 weeks to get a noticeable difference in muscle mass.
Right.
But he's totally not using it. But yet, when we measure some of these legs, we're already getting, a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch difference. And the dog seems to be doing great.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we had a dog come in here, another Shih Tzu dog, but because man, those dogs are hard on themselves because of the bite work.
Yeah.
And this dog actually has an MRI that shows he's got a stenosis at L5, L6. And we're having some problems with that back there at L5, L6. And I adjust his atlas and he does good. We adjust his atlas and he does good. And they were really concerned because the MRI and my findings are totally different. And I said, okay, well, so we measured his front leg, and his front legs were uneven as well. And even though he's using both front legs apparently evenly, the one on the side of the atlas subluxation was a 1/2 inch smaller, than the right one. And so the owner finally got the idea that, hey, this nerve flow is important. And keeping this nerve flow throughout the whole body is important. And, the weight of a feather on a nerve decreases transmission by 50%. We can't build muscle without nerve transmission. So,
Right.
So yeah, these young dogs are important. And that's something that we've got some of our owners doing now. Hero Braces makes a little tape measure that's pretty economical, but it's like a seamstress tape measure, a flexible. And so just, we kind of got some of those and we're handing them out to some people and measure, just measure every couple weeks, to see if you need to come in and see us or not. Because
it's something a bit hard and objective visual that they can say yes or no, there's a change.
Yeah. And so it's easier. I mean, you and I come in and we just check leg length and go, boom, we're going to adjust the atlas. But yeah, so these owners can help because it sure makes a big difference. So what do you notice when you go to these competitions and there's a lot of other chiropractors there? Are you noticing a difference because you adjust the atlas and there's some chiropractors that maybe don't do that?
So we do, there's 2 other handlers, agility handlers, who are also veterinary animal chiropractors, veterinarians who do animal chiropractic, and kind of depending upon availability and who's friends with who and things like that, there's a little bit of some overlap stuff as far as, you know, last competition they saw her, this competition they see me because she's not here, I'm the only one here, and pretty typically most of these people say, oh, he just always has problems in his sacrum. Fair enough, and sometimes I find it in there too. You know, they're like, oh yeah, I say something about the sacrum, and they're like, oh yeah, she said that last time. And but I'm finding a lot more neck stuff. I feel like the owners become a little bit more surprised. They're like, oh, he's never had a neck problem. Okay. Well, he's got a neck problem today. That's all I can tell you right now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, even if they've checked it, let's give him the benefit of the doubt, and they've checked it and he's not had one before now. Well, he's got one now. He did something, you know, something went haywire. He's got it today, so I'm going to fix it. Yeah. And then, you know, I'm good friends with one of them. The other is just kind of an acquaintance person. And so we talk professionally and everything like that. And we are in our agility club. We are president and secretary together. And, you know, thankfully there's not territorialism or anything like that. It's like, oh, you're available, you adjust. I'm available, I'll adjust, you know, and which is nice because they, you know, I imagine some people it's not that smooth. And
well, and especially when they figure out that, you know, how important the atlas is as owners, you know, and that's one of the things we see. But so, yeah, if you're, you know, I mean, because I don't know that I've ever seen a competition dog that did not have an atlas that needed adjusting.
Yeah, especially not my physical agility dogs. My obedience dogs, yeah, I get some of that too. The nose work dogs, because they're all over the place with their noses and doing head snaps and stuff, I get tons of necks out of them. Yeah,
and it's so important. They start missing stuff on the nose work dogs because of the way they work the scent trail. You know, so that's big. And then you know, the bite work dogs, that
I don't have any of those, but I can only imagine just because I have I've seen videos and I watch the videos of, you know, mutual friends and stuff, even though I don't adjust their dogs or anything, but I watch their competition videos and I'm like, good Lord, I can only imagine the traffic jam in their neck.
Yeah.
Neurologically.
Well, and especially a lot of them now, well, when we started 5-6 years ago, the decoy or helper, however you wanted to word it, was always like the low man on the totem pole. You know? And now good decoys are getting paid.
Yes.
You know, because
they need to be adjusted too.
Well, they do, but it's so important because they protect the dogs.
Yeah.
You know,
they can do a lot of damage.
Yep.
Unknowingly.
Yeah, they have to understand the sport. So anyway, well, what has animal chiropractic done for your life?
It's made it to where I've got a lot of dogs who in traditional practices would be on meds, that can do some organ damage or, have GI issues associated with them, I've kept them off of drugs. And people are a lot more educated now, sometimes for the better, sometimes not so much when they start Dr. Googling, but they recognize that it's better not just be like, well, just give me a pill and it'll be okay. They are learning that things happen, and if we can keep these dogs happy and comfortable and feeling better. Oh, she's playing with her toy. She hadn't done that in a while, and she can go for 6 ball runs through the yard instead of 2. And the dogs come flying in the building because they know they're going to feel good. That's been huge on these dogs. And the owners appreciate it more, especially the ones who go to the chiropractor themselves, but never really thought, oh, the dog can get done too. And I'm like, well, look how good you feel and look how much it's helped you, and let's do the dog. And then the dog, comes out in gangbusters and just kind of ho-hummed in, and it's also instant gratification. Like, these people can see night and day differences like pretty quickly, and so that keeps them coming back and keeps them saying, yes, I see this progress, and so let's keep going.
Yep. Cool. All right. Anything that you wish all the dog owners in your area knew about chiropractic?
Just that it can be one little thing that they are sore and uncomfortable, and it doesn't have to be some big dramatic I'm limping thing. They can be out, and maybe you're getting behavior changes that, and they're blaming this dog and it's not trainable, and it's pulling on the leash and all of these things, and it can be something fixable and manageable and super simple and not invasive, and that's what I love, that it's simple, it's not invasive, and the dogs just love it. They absolutely love it. I mean, we have dogs that come because they come from 1 to 2 hours away purely for us to adjust them, and they fly into my building. But when it's time for their annual stuff, it's time for their blood work, and they're going to their local veterinarian, the dog's like, really? No, I want to go to that feel-good place. And they just, it can enhance their lives so much, just even as pet dogs. It does not have to be just sport dogs that get this attention. Pet dogs can greatly benefit from this as well.
And not just older dogs.
No. These growing baby dogs that, are doing silly things. You have young kids out in the yard with them, and it's like, baby dog, baby kid. This is a recipe for disaster physically. They're playing, they're wrestling. These boys are wrestling with these dogs and things like that, and these rapidly growing large breed dogs, they need to be kept straight, kept symmetrical, kept, their body together, and not be so much like just a bunch of spare parts thrown together.
Yep. Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate your time today, and I know you had the dogs in the car with you, and they're all well behaved. They're all quiet, so must be well adjusted.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much for your time again, and
thank you.
Until next time. And do you have any questions for me?
Not at the moment that I can think of. I'm just so appreciative. Like, it seems on the surface so minor and so nuanced, I guess, and you know, you don't see, like on x-ray you can see the pin holding the joints together, you know, the broken bone together, and you can see the broken bone has healed and things like that, and it doesn't seem, it seems so superficial, but it's amazing the huge deep butterfly effect that it has in these dogs and cats. I've got a handful of cats that I am adjusting regularly, and they come in, you know, howling and screaming like, oh my God, I've been in the car and it's awful. And I adjust them and they're quiet, and they go out quiet, and then they're quiet on the way home. They're like, she made me feel good. I mean, even in these cats, it's making just such a huge difference that even though to the outside looking in, it doesn't seem like it's that much, it's such a huge butterfly effect. And so I'm very thankful that I found you guys and got this education.
Well, we're glad you did. And we continue to follow your winnings. And it's always exciting to see when one of your well-adjusted dogs, you know, gets another title.
Yep, we smoked it this past weekend. He's in all master's levels classes now.
All right, cool.
Yep.
So would you say that you're progressing faster than you have in the past?
Definitely. The more that I paid, it has honestly been a two-pronged thing. I've been taking better care of myself. I have, in the past couple years, over the past 2 years, I've lost 98 pounds. So my athletics, I'm at the chiropractor weekly myself. My athletics have improved. And the more that I started paying attention to myself and knowing what was going on with me, and I started looking at my young dog and checking him and adjusting him regularly, it clicked together that he is taking on these challenges that before he wouldn't have tried.
So cool.
And we have just skyrocketed the past 6 months that I've been paying attention to him.
Cool. Glad. And you look good too.
Thank you. I feel great. Great.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in a profession that has high stress levels,
Mm-hmm.
and not a lot of time, you know, given to self-care, self-help, you know, I'm glad that you have taken that effort to be healthier.
Yep.
Because
I'm a much better doctor for it.
Yes. And that's something that we all need to learn, I think. You know?
Yes.
Would definitely help some of our stressed compadres that, you know, are contemplating getting out of the profession in one way or another. And, you know, definitely is a huge, huge plus.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Have a great week. Bye.
Thank you. You too.
If you are or know a veterinarian or chiropractor, or a student of either of these professions, visit our website, Animal Chiropractic Education Source, to see how to become certified in animal chiropractic. Start improving the lives of the animals around you. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the ACES channels so that you never miss an exciting episode.